And a very happy Saturday night from City National Arena. Game 2 of this weekend series between the 12th ranked Skating Rebels of UNLV against the Skating Utes of Utah. I'm Dana Lane. Thanks for joining us. Bear with me with the voice. We're going to try to get through 60 minutes of hockey tonight, and I'll have a whole week to recover. Starting lineups for UNLV. A lot of changes for both teams, specifically for UNLV. Tori Yumi will get the start with Turcotte and Flanders. Second line, DeMizio, Underwood, and Malone. Mayer, Erickson, Muller on the third line. David Sovek will center the fourth line. Daniel Fisher, Angelo Cefalos will be his forwards. And, of course, the defensive pairing of Asaf, Eric Williams, Barry Mazzillo, Hetzel Plonsky. Mike McKenna also will see some playing time tonight as the Rebel defenseman. In goal tonight for the Rebels, Eric Idison. And in goal for the Utah Utes is Landon Anderson. Now, Landon Anderson came in last night at the end of the first period. It was only 1-0, but he came in place of Jacob Slaw, so he took over for Slaw last night. Did a fantastic job. Unfortunately, the Rebels opened it up late in the game. Starting lineups for Utah, Dylan Dix, Wyatt Light, check that, Stephen Paulo, Che Landakusik, Alex King, Brett Meyer, and then, of course, Landon Anderson in goal. Face-off won by UNLV. They're in the Utah end. They're setting up and already a penalty on Utah, and UNLV gets an opportunity to draw first blood on the man advantage. Here comes Malone. Malone drops it on off to Mazzillo. Mazzillo wraps it around the board and now back out to the point. Back over to Mazzillo. Mazzillo shoots, hits the post and out of play. Well, he had plenty of room on that side of the ice and decided just to walk it in on Anderson, and think he got the top of the post. And UNLV had a good chance there to take an early lead. Face-off in the right circle, won there by the Rebels. They've done a fantastic job of winning those face-offs with the man advantage and also on the penalty kill as well. As a wrister deflected out of play. So just underway here at City National. Thanks for joining us. Rebels on the power play. DiBenedetto, who played his junior hockey here in Las Vegas, now playing for the University of Utah, is off for 2 minutes as the puck trickles down on to Idison. Idison lays it off as the first minute is complete. Here in the first period, Rebels back the other way. Here's Underwood, high slot area, and a shot just wide. Good job there by Underwood. He went over to the half wall, kept the puck inside the UNLV end, or inside the Utah end, which is really where UNLV has spent the first minute and a half of this game. No sustained pressure yet by Utah, and UNLV doing a good job. Of course, they're on the power play, so you would figure they would spend a lot of time in their area. There's Barry. Wrister in front, puck is loose, and Utah is able to clear it. As Barry goes back to play it for UNLV. Utah everybody changes for Utah as the Rebels go back and regroup. 2 minutes gone. First period, no score at City National Arena. The voice ought to be great in the third period. Here comes the Rebels into the offensive zone. Good move at front there by DeMizio. DeMizio tried to get it back on his forehand. Couldn't do it as it rolled off, and then a centering pass misses everybody and goes right back down to Idison as the penalty is over. And Utah is able to kill off the first man advantage for UNLV. Thrown in down deep by Paulo. And I think tonight that's really what Utah's going to have to do, throw a lot of pucks down deep. There's a shot in on Idison by Bastone. Bastone found a lane, made a great judgment call there to get it in on Idison, anytime, like last night, UNLV didn't give them any lanes to shoot in, and anytime you see an opening, you got to get it in on Idison. And Bastone did that, but UNLV's able to poke it down into the Utah end. James Cahill brings it up for Utah and then loses the puck as it trickles down into the corner. Rebels still in control, trying to get back in transition, creating an odd man rush, and we're going to have offsides there. That was a pretty easy call. The Rebels came in offside. I think there was 2 Rebels in before the puck actually, it was control of the puck inside the Utah end, so we'll come out to center ice for the draw, or come out to the right dot just outside of the offensive zone. Good win there by Myers as he beats Erickson for the face-off draw for Utah. Thanks for joining us tonight on the UNLV YouTube page. So conscious, so conscious about the voice tonight. I woke up this morning and I thought, okay, it's got to be better than last night. No, it's not. So bear with me. Utah wins the draw back to Dylan Dix. We talked about Dylan Dix last night, and according to a few websites that I went to try to find some numbers on him, they didn't have his numbers from last year, but chased there by Moeller. Moeller trying to harass Guy Petrie there for his second, trying to gain control. Maybe pick his pocket and get a shot in on Anderson. A good job there by the Utes to protect the puck. As we're saying about Dix, Dix is a freshman with Utah, but he did play junior hockey last year. And his parents was good. His dad, I assume, came over last night and talked to me about it, which is great because sometimes it's hard getting some information on the various websites if they're not updated immediately. So we try to go. Obviously, accuracy is what we're shooting for. 2-on-1 down there in the corner. Good job. Good job there by Odlin, who was able to recognize there was 2 Rebels bearing down on him, and before they could get within sight or get within stick distance, he got it out of there, and that certainly was going to lead to a turnover if he held onto a puck there. So good presence on the ice, knew what was going on, and decided to get it out. And it looks like we do have a penalty on UNLV. And Barry will be going off for 2 minutes for the Rebels. So Utah has a chance here to take it. Obviously, they have a chance on a man advantage, and I mean, getting goals on the man advantage is absolutely huge. Especially the first one, get on the board first, set the tone for the rest of the game. And I said last night that obviously when teams come into Vegas, the first night not so great, second night a little bit better because they got their legs, don't have to travel that day, and most teams travel that day. The first 20 minutes is extremely important with most hockey games, but certainly in this situation, shot in on Idison. Idison had to make a save, and the Rebels cleared it out. 1:29 to go. So we've seen teams come in here and just absolutely get blown out in their first game, and the second game after they've had a chance to relax, that's when they've played the better of the 2 games. But these are opportunities that Utah, you would have to say, is the underdog coming into this 2-game set. But these are the chances that they have to take advantage of to find success against the 12th-ranked Rebels. Puck play, it bounces out of play. 14:05 to go. Try not to go too high. 14:05 to go. First period. No score. The City National. 59 seconds left. AC/DC blaring. Good crowd tonight. Utah wins the draw back to Len Kusik. We talked about a lot last night, but back the other way. Here comes the Rebels. Shot in a blocker, saved by Anderson. Good job there by Underwood. Didn't really have numbers, but made a really good choice of getting the puck off his stick before the nearest Utah U could get to him. Got a shot off in on Anderson and made a blocker save, but if anything else, still killed off about 10 seconds off that power play. Then it's down to 19 seconds left. Utah and the UNLV end. Idison is down, no goal. And Utah thought they had scored, but no goal. And Idison is still down, and it looks like he's getting up right now. DiBenedetto does not, Joseph DiBenedetto does not agree. And they're discussing it right now. And DiBenedetto, the 5'10 forward from Anchorage, Alaska, was not very happy with that call. And of course, it was on the other end of the ice. I'm not exactly sure what had happened, but looked like it was. They're still kind of discussing this, and I don't know. I don't think they're looking at any kind of monitor or anything like that. I mean, there's nothing to tell if it went over the goal line or not, but there is going to be a penalty on Utah, so it's going to be 4-on-4 for the next 12 seconds, and then UNLV will go on a power play for the next minute 48. So the penalty on Landa Kusick. One thing I got tonight, I got a spotter. So many goals are on the other end of the ice. I look up at my spotter and tells me exactly what happened. So that's a positive moving forward. So we'll skate 4-on-4 for another 28 seconds. Draw just right up Anderson, and that was where UNLV's been extremely strong on the offensive zone face-offs, but they lose this one as Utah pokes it back outside the UNLV end. And we're going to have an icing, and of course, Utah's not very happy with that either. Penalty is over, so UNLV will have a power play for the next minute 48. 13-14 to go, first period, no score. Shots on goal, 2 apiece. A little bit different than certainly last week, and shots on goal were almost even last night through the first period. Utah did a good job of staying close in that capacity, and it looks like we're going to have another penalty. And Stephen Paulo is going off the ice for Utah, and this and we'll look at exactly how this shakes out. But the second penalty is going to go to Utah, so UNLV will have a 5-on-3 advantage for a minute 43. So Stephen Paulo, who didn't really have much objection to that, just skated to the penalty box. But there's a 5-on-3 advantage for UNLV. UNLV wins the draw, but just outside of the reach of Underwood. Paulo gets 2 minutes for ending elbowing. Here's a backhander saved by Anderson. Anderson is down. UNLV has control of the puck. Here's Barry. Barry tries to get a deflection as he shoots it into Flanders. Flanders tried to get a deflection in front. Just couldn't get his stick down. And sticks are up and elbows are up in the corner. Yeah, depending on how this game goes, this might get chippier and chippier, but the fact remains, even though this is early in the first period, this is a key opportunity for UNLV to not get just one goal. Obviously, they would in a position to still, if they get the one goal early enough, obviously they're still on the power play. So this could be a potentially has the potential to be a multi-goal penalty for Utah. 12:46 to go, first period. Turcotte will come in and take the draw for UNLV. Alex King took it for Utah, but UNLV wins the draw. Here's Williams. Williams over to Asaf. Asaf gets it down low to Turcotte, throws it back out to Asaf, who floats it on over to Williams. And winds up. There's Williams. Shot and deflected out of play. So the Utah bench is pretty loud right now. Happy to see what Utah has done on the power play so far, but still a minute to go and a UNLV two-man advantage. And this is one of those points in the game where you certainly would have to circle if UNLV was able to be successful, at least with one goal, or Utah was able to clear it out. Utes able to clear it in down as Idison comes out to play with 12:15 to go, first period. Rebels go back to regroup. Should easily be able to get into the Utah end, but Utah did a great job of standing them up there at the blue line, not allowing offensive access, and now they're just more than willing to tie it up along the half board as the Rebels finally are able to get it into the offensive zone. But good stick work there by the Utes. DiBenedetto shoots it back down the ice, and that first penalty is about over. But 10 seconds to go. Maybe UNLV has time for one more rush back the other way. Here's a wrister and a blocker save. The shot there by DiMizzio had plenty of space. First penalty is over. So UNLV now has a 5-on-4 advantage. Still really no quality shots on goal, especially on that 5-on-3. As Idison comes out to play the puck, it was one area of his game that needs to certainly improve. And that's goaltending across the board for UNLV, but good to see Idison come out and play it. Here's Barry. Barry shoots it in a deflection and a save by Anderson. I think he got a blocker save and then a backhander pass to Malone. Malone wasn't able to get a stick on it, and back the other way. Here comes Utah. Shot in on Idison. Idison makes a save, and the Rebels come back in transition. 3-on-2 if they hurry. They are onside. Puck goes in on Anderson. Anderson sticks it aside. Underwood was able to keep it in the zone, but he got spilled by Petrie. Petrie now in control for Utah. Now we're starting to warm up. Been a big hit along the boards, and Petrie ain't going to like that. So Petrie has a return shot. And linesman comes over and breaks it up. 10:25 to go, first period, no score. The last 2 minutes for sure have been a lot more up-tempo than the first 8 and change. Erickson will take the draw for UNLV and lose the draw as Utah maintains control inside their end, but even though we lost the draw for a second there, UNLV got it back, but good job by Utah to maintain control as they sent it out to center ice. Lost in the neutral zone, but shot back in as Utah goes back to regain possession of the puck as Utah goes for a change, and Dix decides to shoot it up through the middle of the ice. Ute was spilled in the high slot area. Good job. Erickson harassing one of the Utah Utes, making sure he doesn't get a centering pass, and really there was nobody in front anyway, so Rebels have been able to keep, both teams have really been able to keep the opposition to the perimeter so far tonight. UNLV did have a couple shots in front, but really of the shots on goal right now, no quality opportunities yet. Probably there was a shot in by a soft. And a handle there easily by Anderson. Probably, depending on what your definition is, perhaps Utah got the better, has the only quality short scoring chance. As Turcotte will take the draw for UNLV against Matthew Perry. Rebels win the draw. Turcotte maintains control. Out to the right point. And dumped down low there for Flanders. Flanders was able to get a stick on it as he wrapped it around. Here's Toriumi. Toriumi gets crunched by 2 Utes. Turcotte tried to center ice pass, couldn't find anybody. A Ute was there for a second, then Flanders lost the handle on the puck. The Rebels still able to maintain control inside the Utah end. Puck loose in front, and a giveaway. As for a second there, Toriumi had it on his stick, but just couldn't gather it to get a shot in on Anderson. 8:32 to go, first period. Rebels back in transition, 3-on-2. He's got Toriumi in front. Shot, backhander, goes wide. Rebels still in control in their offensive end. Here's Toriumi, back to the point, shot deflected. Goes wide again, and now the puck is still, the play is still going on, and they're more worried about scrapping in front of Anderson. There's no whistle blown whatsoever, and they were more worried about pushing and shoving in front of Anderson. Not sure how that's, there's not a call on that, but shot in goes, and Anderson makes sure that he seals the deal on this one. And almost after every whistle, there's pushing and shoving. This time Flanders is involved for UNLV against Otto Chow for Utah. So 7:57 to go, first period. Still no score. Rebels have had a 5-on-3 in addition to another power play opportunity and failed to score on that. So Lafos will take the draw for the Rebels. Salafos and Otto, and now Salafos is being asked to leave. Daniel Fisher will come in his place, and Utah wins the draw cleanly over to Dylan Dix. Dix with his head up tries to get it out of the zone himself. Couldn't do so, but he got it over to Chow that was able to dump it into the UNLV end. Rebels went back, maintained control as they come back out to center ice, and they're sure letting them play tonight. I mean, the puck's off the stick, and you got guys that are still jostling for position, and we're going to have an offside. And then we're going to have a big check after, and if the Rebels maintain their cool here, they should have a power play. If Fisher goes in to retaliate after the hit, after the whistle blew, there was a hit. And let's see if they put anything up on the board. I mean, Utah is going to get a penalty on that, so that's the right call. And your only hope after that sort of thing is to not get a return penalty. And so far, nothing on the board for UNLV. So the Rebels go to their fourth power play tonight. Turcotte will take the draw for the Rebels. Wins the draw cleanly. Back to Williams. Over to Asaf. Asaf moving the puck over to Williams. Williams is clearly the quarterback on the power play. Shot in wide of Anderson as the puck comes all the way back out to Williams, who decides to take the right point. Him and the two defensemen are on the same side. But Williams did a good job of keeping it in the zone. High slot area. Turcotte shot and a save by Anderson as Utah trying to clear. Unable to do so as the Rebels still applying the pressure in the Utah end. Here's Turcotte. Turcotte throws it back out to Williams. Williams shoots, blocked inside. Asaf picks up the puck, keeps it in the Utah zone. Asaf with his head up. 1:15 to go in the power play. Turcotte, Williams. Anderson right up against that post as Utah tried to clear, and Williams almost kept it in the zone, but unable to do so as it just got outside the blue line, so the Rebels go back to regroup, but right back into the offensive zone goes UNLV. Here's a pass, a shot by Mazzillo, and Mazzillo was wide open as Anderson takes a spill. Utah tried to get it outside the UNLV end, not able to do so as the Rebels were still able to maintain control. Here's Malone. There's a stick on the ground, trying to cross ice pass to Turcotte in the high slot area. Turcotte couldn't get a stick on it, and finally Utah clears it out. 19 seconds ago in the UNLV power play, still a stick on the ice. DeMizio, the backhander in front on over to Underwood. Underwood unable to get a shot off of as he was tripped up. Now the puck is loose, and a backhander by DeMizio. And Anderson down to make the save. The penalty is over, so the Rebels are still 0 on the night in a power play, but still in the Utah offensive zone, and now the Utes were able to clear it down to C.J. Odlin. Got control of the puck with 5:10 to go in the first period. No score in this entertaining hockey game. And so far, by my count, UNLV 0 for 4 on the power play. Utah 0 for 1. And if Utah ends up winning this game, they could really point to those opportunities. And it's just the first period, so we'll see what happens in the next two. But 4 power play opportunities, including a 5-on-3. Those are chances that you have to cash in if you're UNLV. And you have to give Utah a lot of credit as they were tenacious on the penalty kill, especially on that 5-on-3. Alex King, who's had a real good 4 periods for the Utes so far, three plus, almost 4 periods. Talked about him a lot, and he's been noticeable up on the ice for Utah. Here's a 2-on-1 in front of Idison. Idison is down, and there's a big pile up in front of Idison, and one of the Utes goes flying. And it looks like that's all it's going to be, but Utah went hard to the net, and I think that's really what they're going to try to do tonight is get as many pucks in on Idison, drive to the net, see if he's going to give up some rebounds because Idison has not played on a consistent basis this year. In fact, they've done a fairly good job of rotating both goaltenders this year between Idison and Laguenay. .4:32 to go, first period. Still no score. And we're going to have an icing, so we'll come out of the zone for the faceoff. So the Rebels next week will play Midland University. Their final 2 games before a lengthy road trip. And we'll talk about the rest of the schedule as the game progresses. But if you have not come out to see the Rebels play or are unaware that they play at City National, do yourself a favor and come out to this facility to see the 12th ranked team in the country play. 2-on-1 there for the Utes, trying to get tied up, but Chow was able to get a stick in there and finally threw it out of the offensive zone and back into the Rebels' end. 4:02 to go, first period. I think for head coach Anthony Greener, who I talked to earlier today, he was still happy with the victory, but there were still some things he needed to clean up. And almost every conversation that I have with him, it's about special teams. So he understands. A guy that's gone to the tournament now 3 straight years, he understands what it's going to take to win an ACHA title. And he knows that they have to be much more efficient on special teams, both penalty kill and the man advantage, in order to be successful in Dallas if they're fortunate enough to get there this season. So I think even if UNLV is able to find its way on the scoreboard, I think he'll, in the back of his mind, not be happy about the inability to put a goal up on the power play. On the bright side of everything, certainly UNLV overall has had the better of the play as the Rebels were able to dump it into the Utah end. Chased there by Malone. Malone a little bit late to the play as Utah was able to get it out of the zone. Here's Meyer. And Meyer just dumped it in. And Meyer will skate off the ice for a change, and we're going to have a penalty. And that looks like that's going to go, my guess, no, it's on the opposite corner. My guess it's going to go against UNLV, but we'll have to see officially. Both players kind of collided, but that's going to be my guess, and we'll look up on the scoreboard to confirm. Nothing up yet. We hear the announcements coming. And indeed, that penalty will go to UNLV. I think my spotter forgot me. So Underwood will go off for 2 minutes. Okay, so Underwood goes off 2 minutes for boarding. And from our perspective last night, there was at least 2 boarding calls that could have been called, one on UNLV, certainly one on Utah. That was not called, so I didn't find that to be as egregious as those non-calls last night, but here we are at Utah with another opportunity on the man advantage as they go inside the UNLV end. Here's Light. Light in his second year from playing for the Utes. 21-year-old brings it into the offensive zone. Now back out the point, the slapper just wide of Idison as Paulo was at the point, and Paulo found a lane but couldn't get it past Idison. Now fought for in the corner as the Rebels just trying to tie it up, trying to kill off some time. Utah is able to dig it back out to the offensive zone. Light on top, or Landikusics on top, waiting for the return pass as everybody's bunched up in the corner, and then finally does get it out to the point, but good job there by the Rebels just pushing Ensign out of the zone, so there was no way he could set up for an offensive, any kind of offensive threat. The Rebels were able to clear it all the way down the zone with 38 seconds to go in the power play, a minute 33 to go in the first period. Dix gets it off his stick. Quick pass up front. Here's a shot. Backhander score. Well, perhaps that's what we talked about at the end of the game, in the beginning of the game, is taking advantage of your opportunities. And Joseph DiBenedetto, who played his junior hockey for the Las Vegas Storm, gets on the scoreboard for Utah. And Utah owns a 1-0 lead over UNLV on a power play goal. So we'll see exactly how UNLV responds to that. I would think they wouldn't be very happy about that, and I would think that they would up their game. And that was a good non-call as Petrie got thrown into the boards, and Petrie comes over and says something. DeBizio throws him into the boards. He goes back and says something to the referee, and the referee said, "Not today." And UNLV, unsportsmanlike, and UNLV is going to go to the power play with a chance to tie things up at 1. Well, DeBizio went to the boards, or went to the corner, and landed a big hit into the corner. There was no call, which has been pretty consistent with what they have not called this weekend. And Petrie was not happy about that. And Petrie said something to the ref, and the arm went up for a penalty. And now you got 2 minutes for hooking. I'm not sure if I saw a hook, but shot wide. Rebels need a goal to tie things up at the end of the first period. 32 seconds left, which means they'll go into the second period with a man advantage if they don't score in the next 25 seconds. Here comes Flanders. Flanders 1-on-2, backhander. And a save, I think, just went high of Anderson. Not sure he even got a stick on it. It's a soft. Soft down low to Mayer, gives it over to back over to Asafa, throws it over to Williams. On a backhander again by Asaf, and a save by Anderson. And, of course, more pushing and shoving and discussions. And Turcotte goes over to talk to Odlin at the end of that period. Well, only one goal on the board in the first 20 minutes, but it's certainly an entertaining period, and you have to give Utah credit. And the decision, the difference in this game right now is the Utes being able to take advantage of their power play opportunities and UNLV not. So at the end of 20 minutes, Utah has a 1-0 lead from City National Arena. I'm going to go get some tea, try to find my voice, and we'll be back in 20 minutes. And welcome back to the second period at City National, where UNLV will be on the power play to start the second half or second period. Back to get it for UNLV was Barry. Barry still in control of the puck, gets it up to Malone. Malone streaking down the right-hand side, gets a shot off on Anderson. Don't think he had to get down to make the save, but they had 15 minutes to talk about this power play to try to get this game tied up, and I know the Utah coaches are not very happy about the penalties, or the lack thereof in some cases. But nonetheless, here comes UNLV on the power play. Walker right in, shot, score! Well, that was pretty satisfying. I'm sure the head coach, Anthony Vigneri Greener, I'm looking up at my spotter, and my spotter has no clue. Anyway, UNLV takes a 1-0 lead, or ties the game up at 1 on the power play. And I just want to make sure that we give credit to the Rebel that deserves it. But his back was to me at the point, at the time of the goal. And we'll get the announcement. But nonetheless, with power play goal just 43 seconds into the second period, game tied at 1. Hunter Mazzulla will get the goal for UNLV. Jake Berry will get the assist. And that's going to be the only one assist on that. Flanders back up to right-hand side for UNLV. UNLV trying to get their second one. Shoots it in wide of Anderson. Now back up into the corner. And UNLV still in control, even though this is a 5-on-5. Williams thought about going into the offensive zone for his second. And we're going to have a penalty on UNLV as Asaf touches up. So Utah gets a power play right back. And special teams becoming a huge part of this game. Landon Anderson still in goal for UNLV, or for Utah. Eric Idison for UNLV. Draw down in the Rebel end, one there by UNLV as Plonsky controls it, flips it back out to, tries to flip it back out of the zone. Unable to do so as King goes into the board against Hetzel. Hetzel uses his body to shield himself from King and the puck. Cross-site D-to-D pass at the blue line, shot in on Idison. Idison, good position as he easily stick that aside. And King and Hetzel once again find their pass that lead to each other in the corner as the Rebels are able to clear back out down the other end as Fisher. And Daniel Fisher driven into the corner, but manages to kill off a few seconds of the power play. Utah back into the UNLV end. Throws back out to the left point as Meyer tried to wrist it in. Nobody there for the deflection as the puck went wide of Idison. Utah able to still keep it in the zone. Wound up, thought better of it. Got it back over to Myers. Cross-ice pass, shot wide. As the puck trickles out of the zone. A crisp power play for Utah for sure, but does not lead to a shot on goal. Just over 30 seconds to go in that power play. Utah coming back into the UNLV end. Dumps it into the corner. Chased there nicely by Mazzillo, who tries to clear it out. Not able to do it himself, but picked up there is Erickson, and he carries the puck out of the zone and deep into the Utah end, killing off precious seconds for the Utah penalty. 16:39 to go in the second period. The Rebels still in the Utah end, even though that they're down a man, and they've done that quite a bit this season, controlling parts of the penalty kill and having offensive opportunities even though they're down a man. Williams gets down deep, not giving Utah an opportunity to make a power move to Idison. The Utes having trouble setting up as Williams does a good job of harassing whatever Utah forward gets the puck. Jerome chases it for Utah, and that penalty is over. So both teams back to 5 apiece. Utah has it over to Jerome. Jerome gets it back out to the point, almost outside. Good job of keeping it in there for the Utes was Odlin. Thrown out to center ice. Intercepted there by Erickson. Here's a slapper and a save by Anderson. Muller wound up and got one in on Anderson. Utah trying to get it outside of the offensive zone, finally able to clear it. But UNLV pokes it right back down as Malone chases and harasses one of the Utes. The Rebels in complete control right now, just done everything in this trip down the ice, but get a shot in, and they finally do get a backhander in on Anderson. The Rebels still controlling the offensive zone as Utah tries to clear. Finally they do, back into the UNLV and has a 2-on-2. Gets a shot off, deflected wide of Idison, and back the other way in transition. Here's DeMizio. DeMizio has Underwood in the middle. Throws it over to Underwood, and they score! Well, that's the one thing about getting caught deep in the offensive zone, which Utah did. One pass out of the zone as DeMizio brings it up the ice, and they had numbers back the other way. And we'll make sure we get the scoring on that. Okay. Underwood did get the goal, so he was the trailer on that. And of course, DeMizio shot it over to him. There's a backhand saucer, a little bit of a touch pass on over to Underwood. They had numbers going back the other way. 2-on-1, and UNLV takes a 2-1 lead. DeMizio gets the assist being announced right now. 14 minutes left in the second period. Idison comes back, comes out to play the puck. And Toriumi was tripped up and no call along the board. He might have gotten a skate caught in the ice, which might have caused him to be tripped up. This game is definitely more physical than the game last night, as both teams are cranking it up a notch. Back to get it for UNLV is Barry. Bakes Barry, skating in and out, going coast to coast, tries to get a shot off. Is deflected just wide of Anderson. Rebels able to maintain possession. Back out to the point, a shot by Williams and score! Eric Williams! Shoots one home for UNLV, and we'll see if there was a tip in front. And it might have been tipped in front by Flanders, but we'll get the official announcement. I know Williams had the puck at the point. He found a lane and shot it in on Anderson. Flanders was in front, so we'll see if he got the tip. But regardless, UNLV has taken a 3-1 lead over Utah. And here's the official scoring. And Nick Flanders indeed did get a stick on that. And Williams got an assist on that as well. So it might have been tipped twice in front. But nonetheless, Flanders does get the goal for UNLV, and they own a 3-1 lead. Back the other way. Good stick work by Williams as Light was trying to make a move towards Idison, and Eric Williams just stuck his stick out there and said time to go back and regroup. Muller battling along the wall, and we're going to have a whistle. So 12:17 to go, second period, 3-1 Utah. And I honestly could tell you, I've seen all the home games here so far. It's the first time that UNLV, to me, has seemed close to what UNLV was expected to be. I mean, they kind of got by Grand Canyon. They played well in spurts against Colorado. But this is a little bit better Utah team, and I like how they've responded coming out of the dressing room after being down 1-0. And not only did they respond by getting the game-tying goal, but they also got 3 more in addition. And now they're going to be on a power play once again. Alex King will go off and a shot and score. Well, that didn't take long as the floodgates are opening for UNLV as they take a 4-1 lead on another power play goal. And this second period has been all Rebels. Goal scored by Paxton Malone. It looked like DeMizio got the assist. Barry also with an assist. And Paxton Malone gives UNLV a 4-2 lead. And indeed, that's it. Paxton Malone gives them a little bit of breathing room now. And DeMizio gets announced with the assist. And Barry with the second assist. So 4-2 UNLV with 11:27 to go. Yeah, it's 4-1. That's what I thought. Okay. I'm looking up at the scoreboard and it said 4-2, and I'm like, well, it's possible I missed it. So 4-1 UNLV. These guys are killing me. Anyway, 11 minutes to go, second period, 4-1 UNLV. Yeah, we're going to have offsides there. I'm going to cough. Okay, first time I had to use that tonight. So I remember the one Utah goal, but I didn't remember the second one. But, you know, I'm not 19 anymore, so it is possible I missed one. Here's the soft. He takes the feed from Williams up through the middle and offside. Toriumi came into the zone quickly, and he was about ready to find an open spot to get a shot off on Anderson. But he got into the zone just a little bit too quick. 10:46 to go in the second period. Face off to the left of Anderson, one there by Utah. Utah trying to make a move in on Anderson. Does not get a shot off. Good opportunity there by McCarthy, Connor McCarthy. Soft and Williams always in control, and Utah beginning to be a little bit more aggressive as the puck goes on up to Flanders. Flanders loses control as Utah pokes it away and back down into the UNLV end. Utah trying to be a little bit more aggressive because they know another goal in this game is going to make it almost impossible to come back against UNLV, who just simply has not given up a ton of shots tonight and certainly not maybe one quality scoring chance. but the Rebels have given up 7 shots tonight to the Utes. So going down by 4 goals at this point and not being able to generate many shots in on Idison, it's going to be tough for Utah to come back from. So they know this is the time where we have to start bringing our defensemen up and engaging and hopefully forcing turnovers. The problem with that is if you get caught, UNLV is going to use their speed going back the other way, and they're going to have opportunities all over the place. Here's Underwood. Underwood shoots, scores! And it looks like they're going to wave it off. And then there's definitely a fight after that, and Rebels are on the ice, and UNLV and Utes are on top of Rebels, and there's a lot of red and black down in front of Anderson. And this one looks like it might get a little ugly, but we'll find out exactly what happened. Anderson is down. It's on the other end of the ice, so we just apologize. Going to have to speculate exactly what happened, but it looks like they're going to give the goal to UNLV. So UNLV did score on that. And we just wanted to make sure they are celebrating, so potentially that's 5-1 now, and just want to get the official word on that. Jake Slaw looks like he might be getting ready to go in, and for Anderson, it might be a good opportunity at this point because Anderson's given up 5 goals and about halfway through the game, a little bit over the halfway. But so UNLV came out of that skirmish and they celebrated on the goal. But let's see exactly. The linesman is talking to Asaf and King. And Slaw just got through putting his helmet on, so there may be a change for Utah. And we'll keep close eye of this. And we'll say this, the Utah coaches at the end of the first period were not very happy about some of the calls that did not go their way. In fact, apparently it was my fault as they walked away, but I'll take it, that's fine. And I'm looking at the replay now. Yeah, so what happened is essentially Asaf was in front of Anderson. He gets run over by a Ute who essentially ran Asaf into Anderson, so no fault of it on UNLV whatsoever. In fact, there should be a Utah penalty because that was clearly a hit from behind. We'll see if that goes up. And there is a penalty up on the board right now. Dylan Dix gets 2 minutes. And the goal stands. The goal stands, so Cefalos will get the goal. And UNLV will take a 5-1 lead, and they're going to go to the power play. So that's the right call there. I mean, it's really nothing to there's no other way to put it. I mean, he got run over from behind. So there's going to be a penalty. Ran him right into his goaltender and essentially ran his goaltender out of the game. Now as Slaw comes into the game for Anderson. So we'll see if this game truly gets out of hand. And we've seen a lot of games like that here at City National where the Rebels have extended leads quite a bit. Of course, the all-time, and this is not a rip again. There's a goal scoring announcement. Cefalos with the goal. And Sovic gets the assist. That's going to be Sovic's first. And Williams also with the assist. And UNLV on the power play, and they can extend this even further. There's a shot by Williams. Puck is loose. Saved by Slaw. Slaw is down to make the save. Stick still, trying to grab that puck in front. And finally, UNLV in control. Cross-ice pass, shot, Slaw saved. Rebels on it. Goes back out to the point. Here's Williams. Williams fans. 8:44 to go second period. 5-1 UNLV. And they're feeling it to try to make a further statement against Utah. Williams fans again on the puck from the point. Decides to give it off to his defensive partner, Asaf, who hands it back to Williams. Williams quarterbacking this power play. Shot, score! Well, I don't know if it was deflected off a stick in front this time. But once again, Eric Williams is involved with either setting up or getting a UNLV goal. And Eric Williams, to me, has had one of his best nights as a Rebel, as he's skating out there with a lot of confidence, and Utah's given him a lot of room, not putting any pressure on the point. And Eric Williams indeed gets the goal. So UNLV extends their lead to 6-1, and I was talking about before, and Rebels back on a 2-on-1. Backhander Slaw makes a save. Mayer gets the assist on the goal, and Asaf with the secondary assist. And it is always good to see when you get scoring depth, and that's what happened on that power play. Is you get Mayer out there getting on the score sheet, and you getting some points from your defenseman, which is huge. If you can get points from the blue line, that just makes you even stronger. But for Utah, they have to come out and challenge the point. They cannot give Eric Williams all the room in the world to be able to maneuver. Here's another shot in at Slaw, and he makes a save. Back out to the point. Here's Williams. Williams shoots it on over to Asaf. Asaf tries to get in. Into the check that was DeMizio. Here's another slapper from the point, and they score! Well, I think Mazzillo got that one, and he wound up and beat Slaw. And this game is officially a rout. Score will go to Plonsky with the assist to Mazzillo. So Plonsky gets on the board, and UNLV extends their lead to 7-1 with 7 minutes to go. And Utah's bench, who was very active verbally, is quiet at this point. And here's another shot and another score by UNLV, and now UNLV is really opening up this game 8-1. And Slaw is, believe me when I tell you, Jacob Slaw is a much better goaltender than this, but it is very difficult to come off the bench and take over midway through a game that has already in some ways been decided, but UNLV has extended their lead even more to 8-1. Goal will go to Mazzillo again. And we'll get the assist on the play. Should be 2 assists. Mazzillo gets the goal. Sean Plonsky would get the assist. And Underwood, Daniel Fisher rather, 19, will get the assist. So UNLV has extended their lead to 8-1 with 6:20 to go in the second period. And believe me, this is really not a reflection of Utah as a club. They're much better than this, just having an off period for sure. Had a decent first period, had a great game yesterday. And 8-1 is two things. It's Utah just having an off night,
and UNLV really finding some chemistry, which I would say for the first time this year, this is the chemistry that head coach Anthony Vigneri-Greener constantly talks about, and he has constantly shuffled lines to get that consistency. Here's another shot, and it's being waved off, and no goal by UNLV. And no, it did go in, but the referee waved it off. And the Rebels still with 5:39 in the second period is still only giving up 6. Now it looks like an 8. I tell you, Christmas break, I'm getting more glasses, better glasses. You're going to get those giant glasses because that's what you need to see the scoreboard. But I can certainly see the 8 in the score column for UNLV with 5:33 to go in the second period. So you would think that Slaw is going to be in there for the rest of the game regardless of what happens. And I think here comes Utah back the other way. Good back check, not allowing the Utes to get a shot off on Idison, who's been really inactive. And good decision there by Landa Kusick, who really could have laid out Eric Williams and decided the better of that. Really no need to finish that check when puck's off the stick. But here comes back to UNLV. Rebels trying to get that 9th goal. And right now it's about really setting up some decent chemistry for the rest of the season as the backhander goes wide of Slaw. 4:43 to go. Second period, 8-1 UNLV. And the Rebels trying to impress the coaches around the ACHA who vote on the top 25 or the top 20 and the ACHA polls for some time, and then the computer rankings take over. Back the other way, the shot in on Slaw, and Slaw was down to make the save. So the Rebels really having their way in transition, and again, we talked about body language for Utah last night, not very good. Body language tonight, even a little bit worse. And again, that's not usually a reflection of this program, but they do have a first-year head coach. Keep in mind, this is only their 3rd game, and they're 2nd against a Division I team. So you have to give them a little bit of leeway, but it certainly doesn't take away from what UNLV has been able to accomplish tonight. At this point, the goal is to roll out 4 lines consistently. As Utah comes back the other end, Wyatt Light tried to get some room to get a shot off, wasn't able to do so, and then back the other way for UNLV as DiMizio. DiMizio's been absolutely on fire in the second period as Utah just dumps it in, and I think we're going to see quite a bit of that from Utah. That would really kind of be what I would do. And there's a hit from behind and on Hetzel, and no call. So the calls have gone both ways for sure. Barry waiting for it at the left point, decides to throw it back down low. Turcotte picks it up for UNLV. 3:12 to go, second period, and I think at this point, even though it's a second period, you want to roll those 4 lines out because in an 8-1 game, you really can do that with confidence. And the other thing you want to do is make sure that nobody gets hurt. And we're going to get a tripping call. And it looks like Turcotte's going to go to the bench. And indeed he will. So Turcotte goes to the bench. And Utah has a power play chance. And right now it's a matter of, if I'm the head coach of Utah, it's a matter of me just saying, forget the scoreboard, get better in little areas, and that starts on the penalty and the power play. Win the rest of the game. That is the goal from right now for Utah. Shot just high on Idison. The other thing, too, is you want to try to get as many shots in on Idison as you can, because really Idison has not had to make many saves tonight. Here's a wrister on over to Meyer, and Meyer fanned on it. Meyer was all alone and certainly was trying to get everything into that shot, but he was more worried about the velocity of the shot than getting it on goal, and slipped and fell as the puck went wide of Idison, now back out of the zone. Slaw goes back to play it. Chased there momentarily by Mayer, forcing Slaw to get the puck off his stick, and Utah goes back to regroup. So for Utah, it's a matter of just winning little battles from here on out, getting better as a team. And the first thing that they definitely need to do, other than have a good power play, is not quit. Just continue to play hockey, because this is a chance, and this is, this is a chance to play against one of the better teams in the country, and you certainly have 21 and a half minutes to show everybody that you can play with one of the best teams in the country, and you can just say, look, for 19, 18 and a half minutes, we just didn't have it. But keep in mind, at one point, Utah had a 1-0 lead, and they played well against UNLV yesterday, but the talent on this UNLV squad, it was a matter of time before they found their legs. The Rebels shoot it right down the back of the ice again. Pavlik down for the Rebels, harassing Slaw, and Slaw was forced to get it off his stick. Now back in transition. Here comes Utah. The penalty is over, so we're skating 5-on-5. Shot in on Idison. I'm not really sure what the goal was there. Tanner Ensign really just had it roll off his stick. Didn't even look like he tried to shoot it in. Now the puck goes in on Slaw, and Slaw jumps on it and freezes it. So 41 and a half seconds to go in the second period. 8-1 UNLV. After the game, Utah will get right on the bus and travel back to Salt Lake City. And regardless of the outcome, at the end of the year, this team will be, you definitely would be able to say that they've moved forward in a positive direction from where they started. I mean, it's not to prop UNLV up in any way, but every year UNLV goes into a season with the idea that they're going to play for a national title. And in order for them to play for a national title, which we talked about last night, is teams that they should beat. They should not only beat them, but they should beat them pretty easily. And they haven't been able to do that yet. Puck is loose in front of Slaw, and Slaw was down. And I don't know exactly why they blew the whistle there. I don't think he even had the puck. Puck went, maybe the goal came loose. But the puck went over into the corner, so I'm not even sure why they blew the whistle. The only thing that they could have blown the whistle for was the goal came loose, and I think that's exactly what happened. So 22 seconds to go, second period, 8-1 UNLV. And the Rebels just trying to get out of this without any major injuries. Just at the same time, they've got 20 minutes to still feel good about themselves, because you don't want to lose a third period. As the second period winds down, and Slaw had to jump on another one, 1 second to go. And a shot by Williams goes wide. And they tried to, Williams thought he had another goal, but honestly, it didn't get off his stick before the end of the second period. So at the end of 40 minutes from City National Arena, UNLV has a commanding 8-1 lead over the University of Utah. And we'll be back in 15 minutes for third period action as the Rebels try to finish off the Utes.
And welcome back to City National Arena for third period action between UNLV and Utah. Quite a bit happened in between periods. We got an update on the goaltending situation for Utah. So apparently Jake Slaw, the starting goaltender yesterday, he went out after one period. And Slaw ruptured his ACL yesterday, so that's why he came out of the game yesterday. And Anderson went back in. Now tonight, I was not aware of that, obviously. They don't really make a habit of sharing medical information with me, especially the opposition. But tonight, Slaw's jersey's in the game, but that's not Jacob Slaw in goal for Utah. So Andrew Urch, who's actually a forward, is in goal right now for Utah. And the confusion came from the fact that they don't have three goaltenders, so Urch had to use Slaw's equipment and Slaw's jersey. So there's a shot in by Eric Williams, blocked in front as UNLV has a commanding 8-1 lead. And back the other way, here comes Utah, possible 2-on-1. Shot in on Idison. Idison makes an easy save. Faceoff will come outside the zone as we're just underway here in the third period. And I know being closest to the Utah bench, they were not very happy with various things. And I'm sure it's extremely frustrating to have your starting goaltender go out. And of course, he's going to be out for the rest of the year. So that's got to be extremely frustrating. And I know that there's a lot of frustration on their bench, but if they can win this third period, they can get out of here and feel good about something they've done this weekend. And they played extremely well. Oh, and apparently that last shot got by Idison, so now it's 8-2, and there's a shot from behind. No call as King just blasted Toriumi, and now there's going to be a penalty. This one's going against Utah, and finally they call a penalty. There should have been one in front of me, and as Toriumi gets blasted from behind. And the goal that Utah scored at back of Idison was so, like, nobody threw their sticks up in the air. In fact, I didn't think the face-off was at center ice. I don't know sometimes. Sometimes I just watch. James Cahill is going off for 2 minutes. Cahill's 2 minutes for slashing. And honestly, the shot on Toriumi against the boards, which they've consistently not called this weekend, was not called again. And I didn't hear anybody complaining that the shot to Toriumi in the back did not get called, but we move forward. 18-14 to go, third period, 8-2 UNLV as they're back on the power play. And again, we talk about from the Utah perspective. So it's in the third period, they're up 1-0. They can win this period and get out of here. You know, they have 20 minutes of hockey to build on and say, look, you know, we didn't go away, we didn't quit, and we have something to feel good about as they head into the remaining games. I don't mean to get all philosophical, but it's what you do when things are not going well that makes the difference later on in your season. It's easy to be up 8-2 and have things going well, but it's how you respond to a situation that really demands that you make the right choices and move forward, move past it, because a loss like this could linger for 2 or 3 games. Here's UNLV on the power play. And Urch, you can tell, he has not played goal. So he's going from post to post, sometimes putting his back to the play, but obviously he'll do it as good as he can. He is a forward playing goal for Utah.
17-7 to go, second period. Back the other way, here's a shot and a save. I don't think it got in on Urich. And UNLV maintains possession in the offensive zone. Good keep there by Moeller as he was able to get it as he was being harassed. Now finally back out of the zone. Mazzilla goes back to get it, and he throws it on over to Lavick. Here's Barry. Barry loses control of the puck for a second. Now gets it back off the boards, off the half wall. Down in deep. There's Moeller. Moeller still able to control. Tried to get it back to Barry. Barry loses control as Utah is able to poke it down the ice. Ensign had it for a second. He was able to wrap it down into the UNLV end. Here's Odlin for Utah as he just gets it deep into the UNLV end and allows Utah to make a change with 16-12 to go in the second period. 8-2 UNLV. There's Moeller in front. Moeller calling for the puck. Chased there by Mayer. Mayer wasn't able to get a backhander over to Moeller as Moeller thought he had a position, but the Rebels still in control in the offensive zone. Shot in and a save. Good save there by Urch. And now back the other way. Here comes Ensign. Ensign 2-on-1 shot in on Idison. And he makes a save. I mean, there's part of you. I mean, you see the situation and the game and the way it is, and you see Andrew Urch in goal for Utah, and you kind of sit and root for him. You know, you can't help but to root for him, the forward from Anaheim, California. And you know he's in a tough spot, so, you know, part of you would rather this game had no more goals and everybody got out of here safely. But with 15 minutes to go, Andrew Urch is going to be asked to keep UNLV at bay. There's Light battling in front. Tried to center a pass. Nobody there for UNLV. And a good hit. Good hit placed on Underwood. And Utah in deep on Idison. But the play was called offside. So 15 minutes to go exactly in the third period. And make sure next week you get back out here for the two-game set against Midland University. And the Rebels will go on the road for quite a few games. In fact, I don't think they'll be back until the first week of December. And I'll go grab that schedule real quick on the next time out. So another penalty to UNLV, and this is what you really don't want to see is, in addition to somebody getting hurt, you don't want sloppiness either. If DeMizio goes off for 2 minutes. So once again, UNLV is forced to kill off another power play. And yes, the game is probably out of reach at this point, but the last thing you want is to walk out of here. And here's Turcotte. Turcotte standing over Dylan Dix at this point and saying a few things to him. And this is obviously a situation where Turcotte just doesn't need to be involved in anything regarding what he thinks about calls or doing anything to opposing players that will not allow him to leave this game with a good taste in his mouth. So UNLV is going to get a second penalty on this. And it's going to be a cross check. And then this penalty is going to go to Toriumi. So Utah has a 5-on-3 advantage for the next 1 minute and 30 seconds. And then they'll have a small 5-on-4 advantage. There's a shot in, deflected. And there's no quitting this Utah team for sure. And they have to be proud of that fact. Chase there by the Rebels. 14:06 to go in the game. And shot all the way back down the ice. as both teams are making changes. Utah goes back to regroup. As Dylan Dix picks up the puck and shoots it in deep into the UNLV end. And really, at this point, that's probably what they should do. I mean, honestly, getting the puck in, and what I would do is not just shoot it into a corner, but shoot it off the back wall and maybe have that puck come off the back wall and force Idison to come out and make a play on the puck, or at least, hug that post a little bit and get it in deep where your 5-on-3 advantage has the opportunity to get more sticks on it than the UNLV defenders. But throwing it into the corner, I mean, you lose that battle, then you're all the way back down the other end of the ice, and even if you win that battle, you're still sitting there in the corner. Utah back to regroup. Good job by Mayer. Mayer not making it easy for Utah to get back into the UNLV offensive zone, but finally they do. And back out to the point. Here's Petrie. Petrie looking. There's a cross-ice pass shot and a block in front. And even at 5-on-3, UNLV's doing an excellent job as Utah barely into double digits in shots on goal. With just under 13 minutes to go in the game, Utah has just 12 shots on goal. And the Rebels trying to clear it out. Can't do so. Picked up by the Utes. And a backhander pass, a backhand shot by Alex King. Doesn't find its way to Idison. So Rebels are controlling the middle. Both penalties are over. So we're skating 5 apiece. And here it comes back the other way. Shot just wide. As the Rebels had an opportunity to get their 9th goal on the board, a breakaway that went wide of Urch.
Baseball's a lot, because I've worked baseball as a cameraman.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. There's Muller. Muller, turn around, pass into the corner, taken there by Sovic. Had to get clarification. Sovic gets on the ice for the first time this year. Then there's a tip in front. A shot that almost found its way past Urch. As Plonsky was trying to find a hole for the puck to go through and potentially get a redirection in front. 11:18 to go in the game. 8-2 UNLV. Back out to the point. And a shot just wide again as of the deflection in front. Rebels in complete control in the Utah end, just despite the fact that we're still skating 5-on-5. Here's Sovic. Sovic gets it in deep to Erickson. Erickson looking for a trailer. He had Muller for a second, then decided to throw it back out to the point. Rister inside, deflected in the low slot area. And Utah back in transition, 3-on-2. And this is where a speed advantage really would help them, but Perry decided to just dump it in the corner on a 3-on-2, and then he went off the ice, so they give up a man advantage. There's a move by Turcotte, shoots, lays it off, and a great save by Urch as Turcotte was trying to lay that puck off for Flanders, and Urch came out and made the save. And honestly, once again, I mean, that is a shot that Turcotte has to take, but he decided to leave it off for Flanders, who was trailing on the play, to see how pretty we can make it. And Flanders whiffed on it a little bit, but Urch was down to make the save. And again, part of the Utah Utes came over to congratulate Urch, who was down and really made it difficult for Flanders to get that puck off his stick. You know, part of you always has to root for UNLV. Here's a deflection in front. Rebels in control. Urch goes post to post, and Turcotte decides he wants to give somebody a shot, And then he gets one for his own actions. Flanders is involved for UNLV. He's got McCarthy. He had McCarthy in the headlock for a second, but now there's another shot to Toriumi, who wasn't very happy as one of the youths Tanner Ensign decided to skate away, but before he did, gave Toriumi a little bit of a shot. Toriumi wasn't happy with that, so he goes after Ensign. And both teams talking as they're skating towards their bench. Flanders still having a discussion with Chow. 9:51 to go in the game, 8-2 UNLV. And there has to be penalties on this. It might be just matching penalties. So we'll see exactly what happened. But once again, it's just a penalty goes up for UNLV. And that potentially is going to be on Turcotte, and that's exactly who it's on. So just things that he doesn't need to be involved in. And I realize there's, skirmish after every play. I understand when puck is frozen and people get pushing and shoving, but against the better teams, you just can't put yourself in that position. And you just want him to have the mindset. He's got all the talent in the world, but you want him to have the mindset that he's just going to skate away from that sort of thing. It's 8-2 now, but this was a closer game, and he did that, obviously. He put them in a bad situation. But flip side of that is you don't want to take the fire out of his belly, and he certainly has that. Going back the other way, here's a shot and a save by Urch. And he kicks it away. Well, Tristan Mayer came in all alone, and Urch says, I'm going to make a glove save, and Mayer's laughing a little bit because he thought he for sure had a goal, and said it 100 times. I think part of us is kind of rooting for Urch a little bit. Kid's in a tough spot at this point, but great glove save on Mayer, and not only did he make the glove save, he flipped it up out of his glove and kicked it in the air to the referee. So hard not to root for that. Now, if it was a 3-3 game, the commentary would be completely different. But 9 minutes to go, just a little bit over 9 minutes to go in the third period. Turcotte's penalty down to 1:13 as Utah trying to get their third goal on the board. Chase there by Paulo, gets it on over to Petrie. Harassed for a second by DeMizio. Utah still in control. And here's a giveaway. Back the other way. Here's Malone. Malone shoots, scores. Well, he wasn't gonna stop that one. And honestly, for Urch, it wasn't his fault. It's the second time there's been a giveaway and then his own end. And Malone picked up the loose puck and shot it past. Urch. And then they just go to the face-off circle quietly because that's a sportsmanship thing to do at this point. So 9-2 UNLV. Malone gets a short-handed goal. And 37 seconds left in the power play. 9-2 UNLV. And that really cannot be, it's not Urch's fault at all. Even on the power play, there was a mix-up in the offensive zone and a turnover. And for the second time, the first time, great save by Urch. And Paxton Malone buried it on the second opportunity. So 7:59 to go. Here's a backhander to the front. Underwood tried to get it to somebody trailing, but there was just nobody down there as UNLV was making a change. Well, 7:52 to go in the game. Hold on. I was going to say I've almost made it through the game without about 50% of my voice. And just as I say that, I need to hit the cough button. John Muller will take the draw for UNLV, and then there's going to be a penalty on Utah. Dylan Dix is going to go off. At least he has Dylan Dix's jersey on, so we're going to assume it's Dylan. He's going off for 2 minutes for slashing, so UNLV back to the power play looking for their 10th goal tonight. And you certainly don't want to rub it in or anything like that, but when they're talking about special teams, you want to be as crisp as possible, and if that results in a goal, that's not rubbing it in or anything like that. That's making sure that your power play executes. 7:12 to go in the game, 1:16 to go in the UNLV power play, 9-2 Rebels. And this by far being the best weekend. Here's Muller's shot, saved by Urch. And as I look around, my good friend Brian Blessing walked into a 9-2 game, so because it is 9-2, I can talk about Brian Blessing. Back the other way goes Barry. Barry chasing the puck down deep. Finally gains control with 49 seconds to go in the power play. 6:37 to go in the third period. 9-2 UNLV as the puck is given up in the middle of the ice, but brought in front. Here's Malone, backhander, score. Well, Malone gets 2 goals in a short period of time, and UNLV buried their 10th goal tonight. And that's the thing on the power play, it's not rubbing it in. You got to be crisp on the power play, and especially when that is a point of emphasis that you know you're going to have to be successful in order to go far into the postseason. So the Rebels get their 10th goal, and by far is their best game series tonight. UNLV back into the offensive zone. Rister in on Urge. Good job there by Hetzel. Hetzel once again recognized he had a lane, then he shot it in. Backs to Malone and announce on the goal. Puck lost in front. Urch down and makes the save. And a whistle blows with 5:52 to go. Third period. So guys, don't miss us next week, Friday and Saturday night, 7 o'clock from City National. We'll take on Midland University before they go on the road until the first week of December. Will be the next time that you'll get to see the Rebels at home, so make sure to get out next week against Midland University. Puck bouncing around at center ice and poked back down into the Utah end. Petrie picked it up for Utah. On up to Myers. Myers laid it off to Light in the middle of the ice. Myers trying to make a move for Utah. It gets it down deep. Centering pass goes back out to the point. Trying to find some room. Finally does, and the puck goes wide of Idison. Idison recognized it and jumped right on top of it. So Brian Blessing only shows up in 8-goal games. He doesn't show up when the going gets rough. Face off down in the UNLV end. And a shot in on Idison as the puck bounces up high. Idison lost control of that centering pass once again to Solvik. Solvik looking for his first goal on the season. Couldn't control it as Utah poked it away back down to the other end. And Brett Myers had a decent weekend. There's a shot in it just wide of Idison. There was an opportunity in front to put one past the shoulder of Idison. It was the top left-hand corner was wide open for a second. But luckily for UNLV, they were able to regroup and not allow Utah to get a quality shot off. Back over the other way. Here's Solvik, backhander saved by Urge. And you got to feel for the kid. I mean, it's down to the third string goaltender. He's not even a goaltender. He's a forward. And he really has done a decent job for the Utes tonight. Outside of the giveaway in the offensive end. Continue to root for him as a backhander finds the middle of Idison's jersey And he freezes it up for 4:15 to go in the third period. So we knew we'd get you out to a game this year. Well, we got one headset. And they just want to hear what I'm saying. Yeah. Well, I would really love to give the headsets over to Brian, but like on most weekdays, people only want to hear me as backhander in on Urge. Complete rating spike on Vegas Hockey Hotline when I'm on, which is hardly never. Turcotte would take the draw just right of Urge. And Utah wins that draw. Puck bounces out to center ice, taken there by Toriumi. And Toriumi throws it through the middle of the ice, lays it out to Flanders. Flanders shoots, saved by Urge. Flanders was in all alone again, and he tried to go low on Urge, and Urge was there to make the save. They're skating 5-on-5, where the Rebels still have quite an offensive advantage. Even at 5-on-5, they control the play into the Utah end. Flanders again gets the puck back, throws it into Turcotte. Turcotte gets it in deep to Toriumi. He couldn't quite get control of the puck. And a big hit along the board almost knocked Blessing out, which was worth the price of admission. 3:07 to go in the game, 10-2 UNLV. And the Rebels back into the Utah end. Mayer tried to keep it in the offensive zone, wasn't able to do so, but Rebels right back on it quickly as Mazzillo throws it in on Urge, and Urge was able to make the save. 2:49 to go. UNLV will go to 8-1 on the season, and we'll see how this weekend affects their ranking. Coming into this game, they were 12th, and there's a offensive zone win by UNLV. And honestly, I mean, with the coaches voting, they should see, these scores. And I'm not sure how much any of the coaches actually watch the games, but certainly when you see these scores, they're impressive, and hopefully that will help UNLV. And then pretty soon it will go to a computer ranking, so no more of the coaches voting. Now, honestly, it probably should wait until week 4 or week 5 to go to that computer ranking and leave the coaches out of it. High slot pass to Moeller, who couldn't get a stick on it. If he did, that would have been another good opportunity to get UNLV another goal for UNLV. But really, at this point, that's not what they're looking for. They're really just looking to be sharp 5-on-5, not get anybody hurt, get out of here and focus on Midland next week. There's Mayer. Mayer gets taken down by 2 Utes, and then he gets crushed along the board by 2 Utes. Mayer wasn't happy about that, so he grabbed the neck of Paulo. And honestly, I mean, in that case, I mean, there was nothing dirty about what happened. It was a clean checkup against the boards. 2-on-1 checks don't feel good, but really nothing wrong on that play. I think Mayer's going to go off for 2 minutes, so Utah's going to end the game without any other further penalty. They'll end the game on the power play. With 1:37 to go in the third period. I'm pretty sure Mayer will go off with a penalty. It's not up on the board yet. But there's 4 Rebels on the there's 5 Rebels on the ice. Okay, well, I guess there's, I don't know. Guess you can do that too. I guess in all fairness, we didn't see the referee's arm go up, but Mayer was getting escorted over that way. And of course, you can't see the penalty box from this angle, but there's a pass that was left off for Light. Light trying to get one last goal for Utah. Just assumed that Mayer was going to get a penalty on that as he retaliated after the 2-on-1 hit. up against the board, but good on him. Oh, okay. Okay, so that's what happened. He got an unsportsmanlike conduct, and we're going to have another penalty. This one's going to UNLV. So UNLV will, in fact, go to the penalty kill. Mayer was escorted off. I thought he was at that angle, so he got thrown off the ice for unsportsmanlike, and that's why we were 5 apiece. Sometimes you just got to wait for the announcements. So Plonsky 2 minutes for holding, and Utah will end this game on the power play, barring any other further penalty. Utah wins the draw, keeps it in the UNLV end, looking to try to get that one last goal. 1 minute remaining, almost get a short-handed bid going back the other way. As the Rebels still being extremely aggressive on the point, not giving Utah any room on the blue line as Muller's back the other way, shoots it just wide. Muller goes back to regroup, trying to kill some more time off this penalty. 40 seconds ago in the game, and the Rebels, despite the fact they're on a penalty kill, are completely in control of the puck. Shot back out to the neutral zone. Picked up there by Landakusik. Landakusik trying to get something in the middle going, but nothing there with 22 seconds left. Sovek loses control of the puck, and that's going to, well, essentially do it with 15 seconds left in the game. Maybe time for one more rush for Utah. Here's Landakusik. Landakusik shoots it just wide of Idison. 4 seconds to go in the game. 10-2 UNLV, and the puck rolls out to center ice, and that's going to be the end. Well, by far the most impressive win for UNLV, and by far the most impressive weekend for the Rebels, as they take 2 from the Utah Utes as they run their record to 8-1 on the season. And we wish the Utah Utes nothing but the best as the season goes on. But the final score from City National Arena as the Rebels go over to congratulate Eric Idison on a victory, and then both teams, of course, which is the teams do at the end of the weekend as they go to congratulate each other on center ice. Sometimes this is interesting. Sometimes they just shake hands and leave. But nonetheless, the UNLV Rebels have had definitely the most successful weekend, and then Midland University comes in next weekend. They want to finish off this homestand because when they go on the road, they will face, we talked about the series against Minot State coming up, and the competition just gets better and better. So good win, and I think when we talk to head coach Anthony Vigneri-Greener, I think he'll definitely finally concede that he's happy where his team is at. So final score from City National Arena, UNLV 10, Utah 2. Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. Drive home safe, have a great weekend, and enjoy your NFL Sunday. Good night.